Welcome back. I am again so happy to see you because always, having gone through some of these journeys with you myself, I'm a real, true believer of how much this is a game changer. And that's why I wanted to share, all that I've experienced with you with others because it's helped me so much. So today, I think the big topic of discussion, empowerment, such a big word.
Mm, such a big word. And yeah, and social media is flooded with that, personal quotes, development trends, self-help tips, but the question here is like, what is real empowerment? It's
This is your actual, day-to-day topic of discussion. What do you think of all
yeah.
the stuff that you keep seeing online? Because I know for me, it just feels overwhelming. I think you feel more disempowered than anything else.
Yeah, I think true empowerment is not something that you get hacked in a 30-day challenge, or hashtag, mindset and positive thinking all the time.
Or a certain
I think real
lifestyle or a certain outfit. I feel like it's become this like, okay, you got to look a certain way to be empowered.
Yeah, it's not about fitting into a trend. It's about finding your own authenticity, you know? And yet again, it comes to the real question, what is real authenticity? You know, how do you know when you're being real, when you're being true, your true self, and not just performing a version of yourself that fits into society expectations or even social media, right?
Well, when we think of empowerment, we usually think success, yeah, which again, on a success with this kind of digitized world we live in, we're constantly bombarded with image of success means I live at this address and I have this body and I have X number amount in my bank account. And, you know, and for people that have achieved this, then it doesn't feel like enough and they keep wanting more. I call it that we have a pandemic of not enoughness. This is the world we live in now. We constantly feeling like it's not enough. And so we keep doing more and more and more and more and more. And none of it is ever enough. And so it's this kind of never ending cycle that I think makes you feel drained.
Hmm.
How does going on these journeys help to break that down?
I mean, what if empowerment wasn't about how you could achieve, but how you could choose? Could it be that empowerment is not something external, but rather something that starts with how aware you are of your own ability to create? Every day when you wake up with a set of thoughts and emotions that reshape your reality, right? So what if you could change those patterns, shift the lens, which you see the world, and how much power would you have if you realize that the way you've been feeling isn't necessarily truth? You're seeing the eye view, the bird view.
Yes.
You're seeing yourself with a bird view, right?
Okay.
And now you're perceiving yourself like, oh, I'm seeing all of these choices, and I've been seeing myself choosing the same thing.
Hmm.
Wow, I see that there's so much more possibilities for me, and I've been choosing this. What if I choose that? And from the space where there's no judgment, there's no wrong, there's no bad, there's no good or bad, there's no wrong or right. It's just the isness, again, the interconnectedness with all.
I think part of it is breaking away from our understanding of what things should be like because of all this programming, and then coming back to saying, okay, me inside of me, I am this unique creation, right? Because we go outside of our body and then we come back in. And
Mm.
so you're still a human being, you still have to eat and sleep and all these things. You have all these needs and desires, but then it becomes understanding, okay, I am this unique creation in this experience. What do I want? Not what I'm been programmed to want. What do I actually want? What have you seen in, your years doing this with people understanding what they actually want, the real authenticity? Have you
Um,
seen
again,
very, very extreme things? Like, have you seen people come to you and it's like they've literally, their life has gone 180 degrees, completely, or is it, or the changes that you see within people more subtle?
changes are subtle, and many people, and again, changes could be as subtle as this back pain that I had for 5 years, it's no longer there. And
Yeah,
for some, that's a lot.
of course.
Some would be, I used to be, so I used to blame a lot of my ex-partner. Now I'm very grateful for her or him,
Mm.
those kind of things. Relation with money. Now I get it. I now have I have a new or a better relationship with money because now I get it. It's just a form of energy,
Mm.
right? Um, People that have changed their relationship with their spouse or their husband because now they get it when they both have had the experience. Now they're more into this connectiveness. It's not about trying to be more of the other one, or who's best, or trying to prove to the other one. It's like, wow, realizing that we're both in this game and that we can be co-creators of this game if we choose to you
So
know
what I'm understanding, it's interesting. I think when we think of discovering yourself and authenticity and who you are and what is your purpose, right? Purpose is such a big thing. Other, big word that gets thrown around with empowerment. We always think that it's like, it's going to be me discovering, that I'm supposed to be this great painter. Or, I'm supposed to be this, I'm supposed to go travel the world and build schools for kids. We think that, it's this grand, big, realization that's going to happen. And I think we, as human beings, we always romanticize everything. We want to make it bigger and better and more like, or maybe it's all, all the movies we watch. But what you're explaining to me is it's actually shifts in understanding who we are that allow us to do our everyday in a very different way. You're reminding me of the Buddhist saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And it's not about that, I come to you, see you go through this experience, and then it's like I come back home and it's like I quit my job, I leave my spouse, and it's actually more about I still am doing my job, I'm still in my relationship, but it's all these kind of understandings that I had about what I was doing that I let go of so many definitions that allow me to do what I'm doing in a very different way. And that brings me
Exactly.
a sense of peace.
Definitely. We're just shifting the perception, the narrative, the point of view. And if they're seeing something, oh, it's happening to me, it's happening for me. It's happening for me to learn something, and it had to be shown this way. Wasn't pleasurable, but this was the way that me, myself, needed for me to understand if I'm getting the message. If not, it's going to be shown in other ways for me. I mean, again, remember, all of these are just information. They're guidance for us to, navigate this reality which we call life. When we're in fear, when we're in doubt, those are just signals for us to go, hey, go this way, or not go this way, go this way.
I think sometimes, again, the romanticized version is people think that, okay, to find my purpose, I need to just sit here and, meditate real hard. And, until my purpose appears, and it's going to like hit me across the face. And I'm like, oh, this is what I got to do.
It feels like it's this big, mysterious, complicated things we had to figure out. Like there's this secret meaning to our lives if we uncovered it.
Yeah. And if you don't, you miss out and you feel like, oh my God, I got to do this before I die.
Exactly. And what if it's not a single predefined path, but something that evolves with you as well? What if purpose isn't a destination, but more like a compass? Maybe it's not about finding, the one thing you're meant to do, but about following what lights you up, what makes you feel alive, perhaps. What if purpose? It's simply to follow the things that excites you. How would your life change if that be your guide?
I'm so glad that you brought up that, what lights you up, what excites you. I think one of the most profound things that I felt after the journeys to follow that excitement. I think I had lost touch with that. And I think it is very much a physical body, mind, everything. It helps you get in touch with that, let's say, little electric signal that goes through your body that makes you feel like this thing excites me. There's something there that I need to follow. And I think with all the programming and all the challenges we go through life, we don't really know how to feel that. And I remember, right after going through the journeys, it would be so present in my body and so clear. And I just was like, oh, I need to, and even in simple stuff, like just, deciding what I'm gonna do today. And I would feel this like little jolt and be like, this is what I want to do. And I would follow it. And I would end up, discovering something or having an experience that was so in alignment with what I wanted to do, or me, that I was just like, this is all connected. And I think that is where when I started to feel truly powerful, because then it made you feel like your things aren't just happening to you, you are actually happening to your life. And it was a very beautiful thing, because it completely is far away from the concept that we have of what empowerment is, isn't it?
Yeah. Because when you're in this type of experiences, you're feeling yourself in that excitement. You're feeling yourself in that ecstatic, in that sense of oneness, like, oh my God, it just feels very good, right? So now that you have that knowing embedded in yourself, then you know how it feels. That could be a compass for whenever you're going through life, that which brings you that, oh, this is better than, I like this, or I want that. Now you can reconnect, within that level to say, like, this is my guidance, because this is what excites me. This is what I want to experience.
So it's almost
And
like it sets from what I'm hearing you say, it's almost like you get trained in your body of what that feeling feels like. And then it
totally.
becomes this way, like when then you're navigating through your life, whenever you get that feeling again, that's your true self.
Yeah. And it helps. I mean, again, these are just tools, just like a tool where, you may go to the public library and find the information. It'll take you a while, but you'll find it. Or you can just Google it and there you have it. You can do this with Joe Dispenza meditations. You can go and create that feeling of, I feel excited, I feel good. And that is going to affect your body physically. Or you can use these tools with just, they happen to be a little bit faster, it's a bit more intense, but you can also access to those states, of awareness, of expansion, of feeling that. And that's our true self. That's our true nature. That's why when we feel connected with, whether it's people or circumstances, oh, I want to go there, or like, oh, I knew it. It's because you're following that which excites you, which is our true self, which is just pure love consciousness, one guiding us for that which is in aligned with ourselves.
I feel like the biggest misconception with this, and I wanted to do this series of talks with you to break down all these myths around the psychedelic experience as a treatment for empowerment, for mental health, is that people think it's this quick fix. People almost feel like, I come see you, I go on one of these journeys, and voila, my problems are fixed. Now I can manifest anything and do anything. And it's not really like that.
And when we have these experiences, the work comes afterward. And when I say work, it's just the actions. We need to take action. If we don't take action, nothing's going to happen. So once because again, we've been doing things, we've been repeating things through the course of our years. Yes. When we have these revelations, when we have this awareness, which is that what we're having, an awareness that I've been doing something because someone else told me, and I didn't question it. Well, now that I perceive it from another perspective, I question it now. Should I keep doing that? Or could I do something else? And that would be one of the limiting beliefs. Exactly.
For me, I found that, just reconfirming this idea that there is no magic pill, because I think after coming back from the journeys with life's stresses and, maybe facing the things that are, keep putting us back into that box of, the limiting beliefs, what we know, how we've been our whole life. That's just who I am. it's so easy to fall back into that routine and kind of pattern. And as we say, like, you know, Joe Dispenza, we keep firing the same wires in our brain, and it's so easy to just, you know, it's almost like an elastic band that just sucks you back in. And I found from my experience that, you know, it was for me a lot of actually hard work, you know, journaling, meditating, just constantly questioning. I think maybe the biggest thing of all was constantly questioning myself all the time. Why am I doing this? What does that mean? Why is this emotion coming up? What's behind it? To be constantly in that state, it requires a lot of effort. It is like a full-time job. And that's you know, if you, I feel like, and again, I'm not saying that, you know, I've changed all the things that I want to change in who I am. It's a process. But there was this kind of myth or misconception that you have going into this, that you feel like, okay, once I see everything of what I'm doing in my life to take me away from what I want, what destructive patterns I have, it's like, oh, if I see them, then I'll just stop doing them. And it's not like that. It's like, first of all, you've seen them. Do you want to face them? Number one, because sometimes we don't want to face them. And number two, after you actually face them, now, are you going to do something different about them?
For some, the work may be, let it go. Let the idea that it has to look in a certain way, let that idea go. That itself, it's kind of like an action, a work that we have to do. You know, that may be an example for someone. Another may be, I now realize that this person perhaps has been disempowering me, not with the intention of, because, you know, we are walking this reality without really knowing, most of the people. And when we have this broader picture, it's like, oh, this person is showing me that this is not what I want. And the only way for me to know is by having the experience. In that moment, the experience doesn't look pleasurable. But how would I know if I don't have the experience? So what bring is, oh, the work here is to let go of that person, because now that person showed me that I have to look up for myself, that I'm empowered, that I'm gonna not let myself get beaten or, you know, pushed down, because I know who I am. And because of that experience that somebody showed me, and I have to go do the work of, you know, facing that. That's the work, facing that which doesn't longer serve me.
I want
Right?
to wrap up this beautiful conversation. You know, I feel like we're leaving it at a high. That, you know, why is empowerment so important? And I think, you know, when I think of why we all seek this feeling of empowerment, is in essence, if you feel as a human being that you're empowered, you really feel a sense of agency, which means you really feel free. You know, at the bottom line of this, it's like you feel like you are free. And again, this misconception that freedom is not necessarily about not having responsibility or doing whatever you want whenever you want. It's, you know, and I want to use this example like as the complete opposite of, you know, the hippie lifestyle. Like, let's bring a guy who in a suit, who has a 9 to 5 job, you know, and has 3 kids and has a mortgage and all of this stuff. You know, he can be free. It's the, you know, the complete antithesis of what we think of as someone who would go and do a psychedelic experience. But even that man in his day-to-day can be free. Can you explain to us why even that, you know, mold can, after going through something like this, can find empowerment and freedom?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, power isn't about dominating or controlling others. You know, it's about mastering yourself, right? And freedom, it's not about being able to do whatever you want to do whenever you want it, right? True freedom, it's internal. It's about being free from the need to conform,
Yeah.
free from the fears that keep you small, free from the stories that tell you you're not enough. You know, true power and freedom comes when you realize that the only person you need to be is yourself. And that's who you are. That who you are right now, it's enough. Right? And it's about understanding that you're not broken. You not need to fix anything, that, you know, your value isn't determined by how you perform in the game, you know, the social life, social media, or societal expectations, right?
Yeah.
I mean, empowerment isn't about doing more or becoming more. It's about letting go, letting go the needs to impress, the need to be successful, you know, by others, someone else's definition, you know,
Yeah.
the need to be liked or validated by others. You know, the real empowerment is quiet. It's when you can sit with yourself without needing the world's approval and know that you're enough, just as you are, right? So here's a question. Are you chasing empowerment as another trend, another identity, another thing to achieve? Or are you willing to do the deeper, messier, and more meaningful work, you know, about figuring who you truly are, you know, that which you really want, and what authentic power and freedom, you know, feels like, you know?
And I
I mean,
think
remember, empowerment isn't something you found outside of yourself. It's something you uncover from within.
it's an inside job, you know. Empowerment is definitely an
Sure.
inside job, and I think,
Yeah.
you know, it, to come full circle, it comes back to this feel, you know, understanding that you can be doing the most mundane thing in the world, and within yourself, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, what meaning you're choosing to give to it is within your control and power. I mean, there is a reason why we've had all these, you know, great, you know, gurus, leaders throughout time, where, you know, they are living within very difficult physical circumstances, and yet the way that they describe the experience can be almost euphoric. And of course, we're not saying that, you know, all of us, you know, everybody around us, that we are at that level. There are different levels of consciousness, and maybe they have, you know, reached the ultimate, but it really is about the meaning that you, the definition, the meaning that you are choosing to give to everything around you.
Exactly.
And maybe that is really the true empowerment, is you get to decide how you define your world, what you're seeing.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple, two quotes. One from Carl Jung that said, "The privilege of a lifetime, it's to become who you truly are."
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, there's another one from Brené Brown, says, "Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are."
And I think, in a nutshell, going through these psychedelic experiences, they kind of sharpen your device in understanding, you know, inside out, what is it that is, you know, really going to bring you a sense of peace in your life.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for yet another, you know, very, I feel like in each one of our conversations, it's like a journey in itself. We go in and out and in and out and come around, and some of it gets lost, and then we come find ourselves again. So I guess it's a reflection of what actually happens. Till next time.
Till next time. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, looking forward for the next time.